yet again.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure just to watch them, isn't it? And another little chapter written here in the rivalry. It's a friendly rivalry. They both have utmost respect for one another. So Ronnie O'Sullivan, the bottom line is he needs something out of the match, really. Having lost 3-0, no points, no frames. And he's playing John Higgins, who, of course, has won this title twice. 2017, 2018. Both times came into Group 7 and won the winners' group. And that's his sort of strategy again this year to try and complete a hat-trick. Of course, he's had a successful season without actually winning a tournament. 4 finals. But just the fact that he's reached 4 finals tells you how well he's been playing.
Wow, what a super start from John. Crisp, clean pot. And that's his first glimpse. As regards the speed of the bed of the table, John probably expected to leave himself on a choice of bulk colours there, but that keyboard just kept running and running.
John Higgins.
Ronnie can't really risk dropping the cue ball into the pack of reds here from either side because there are loose reds he could leave on. So tempted to drop in to the back of the pack, and that was very well executed. A very small gap to play through there.
Higgins has got back-to-back matches. Ricky Walden next for him on this table. But obviously this is now the last group before the winners' group, so there's no coming back. If you don't win the group, that's your race run. It's a one-time shot to get in the winners' group for the players coming in. Of course, Ricky was a late call-up for Neil Robertson as O'Sullivan, meantime, goes in off. Of course, he's got Judd Trump in the first round next week of the Players' Championship, and the winner of that plays Robertson or Karen Wilson, so it's the most brutal section of a draw imaginable.
Whoa. Again, just fantastic here from John Higgins. Terrific amount of risk involved in playing this red the way he did. I mean, it had to go in. He was almost guaranteed to leave Ronnie a great opportunity, and he would have done. Some players may have considered taking the cue ball into the pack of reds there to dislodge a few more, bearing in mind that red is waiting for you over the left corner.
8.
But John may still look to leave that red there if he can, and play the cannon into the pack at a later date.
Nine.
Oh dear, that's gone wrong for John. I think he played for a red in the left corner, but realised the red was too close to the pocket and had to make the plant, and look where the second red has gone, it's blocking the black.
John Higgins, 9.
You always know, though, that Higgins is going to play an effective safety if it goes wrong. That all-round game has stood him in great stead, hasn't it, for the last 3 decades. Just brushed a red.
I think he's left a red on here, the red below the pink. And what's more, I think the black's available into the same pocket. Certainly the pink is to the right centre.
Sort of sums up how O'Sullivan's day has been so far. Nothing's gone right, and he's handed Higgins another chance here. I guess one of the key things is there's no fear for John Higgins playing him. Now, he's been well beaten by Ronnie O'Sullivan several times, including in finals, but he doesn't have maybe the feeling some players, even top players, have playing him, because he's beaten him in plenty of big occasions as well.
No.
Neither was in Berlin last week. They didn't qualify for the German Masters. Of course, John Higgins was beaten in the quarterfinals of the Masters by Mark Williams in an absolute thriller that went the distance, that had the crowd on their feet. And O'Sullivan lost to Neil Robertson also in the quarterfinals.
Well, if John goes into the pack of reds here, they may not split too well for him. Wasn't a good pack to go into from the black, unfortunately for John. But he may have been fortunate. If the red near the pink doesn't pop, the one that's next to the green certainly will.
Well, it's a good sign for Higgins, knocking those in so early on.
Wow, that didn't work out too badly for John, did it?
28.
Missed the main pack of the reds, and in the end it was the loose red that enabled John to have a potable red here. Given the start that he's made, I'll be a little surprised if he doesn't win this first frame from here.
$36. $37.
Well, that red sort of fell in the end. Still have to develop these four reds if he is going to win the frame at this visit.
Well, they have to develop them now, I feel. You'll have to use those four reds as a stopper, really, for the cue ball, because he'd landed previously very straight on that previous red and could only roll it in because of hampered cueing, so he doesn't have a good angle at all here on the black.
Well, it looks like a frame winner, doesn't it? Couldn't have gone much better, that.
40.
Just needs to stay focused, you feel, here now. Already 58 in front, so not much more to do.
45.
We'll need another red after the blue, in fact, to win the first frame pretty comfortably. I think the red he knocked in to the green pocket to keep this break going was, as I say, a good sign that he's cueing well. Obviously he's been practicing, just hasn't had any tournaments since the Masters, but that's only a couple of weeks ago.
$51.
Didn't play in the shootout, but he will be playing the shootout winner, Hussein Vafai, next week in round 1 of the Players' Championship. That'll be along the road in Wolverhampton.
This bedcloth is so quick,
54.
but it appears that the cushions are as well. So John's just overrun there by a foot or so, much to his surprise.
$55. $58.
Higgins, 25 centuries so far this season. Of course, he's second on the all-time list, but a long way, as everyone is, behind Ronnie O'Sullivan. Good 250 centuries behind him. Still, it's a part of his game maybe he doesn't get enough credit for, the break building. We talk of him as the match player and the tactician, but you don't get to do what he's done without being a heavy scorer as well.
65.
I think, Dave, it's the other way round maybe from Ronnie O'Sullivan's point of view. We all give him great credit for being such an incredible break maker, all-time table topper in terms of century breaks made in his career, but he's also a wonderful tactician and safety player as well. He's got everything.
72.
No, it's a fair point, I think. They've both got everything, that's why they're still at the top after 30 years.
73.
Great chance for the ton now for the Scotsman.
$80.
Saw Karen Wilson, of course, end with one in his 3-0 victory against O'Sullivan, who has played 4 frames and lost them all so far today.
$85. $89. $94.
Well, he turns 47 in May, but John Higgins remains a class act. This pink for a century in frame 1. Well, that's how you start a tournament, isn't it? Not even bothering with the black. 100 exactly from the 4 times world champion in his first frame of Group 7 of the Championship League. He leads Ronnie O'Sullivan in Leicester 1-0. Welcome back. Not a great start to the day for that man. Ronnie O'Sullivan lost 3-0 to Karen Wilson, and he's just sat out 100 exactly from John Higgins in the first frame of their match. On the other table, Martin Gould leads Ding Junhui 1-0. Ali Carter beat Ricky Walden on table 2 in the first match there, 3-0. Real big hitter group, isn't it? It almost feels like the winners group, because that will follow Thursday and Friday, and we'll find out the eventual winner of the tournament. For now, it's about getting in the top 4 tomorrow night for these 7 and completing that winners group lineup.
Well, Ronnie did well there to avoid cannoning into the black and the red. He's a little unlucky to have ended up leaving the red that he took on, but that's what's happened. He's sat out 2 consecutive centuries, Ronnie, now. One from John Higgins and one from Kyron in the third and final frame of their match.
Well,
yeah, it just seems nothing's gone right for him. You know, on another day, you don't leave the red on, but he has done. So Higgins in immediately here in frame 2. We know that he's queuing nicely already from the century he made in the first frame.
Six. Seven.
Yeah, as I say, he's had a good season without actually winning a tournament. He lost in a decider to Mark Allen in the Northern Ireland Open final. He lost in a decider to Neil Robertson in the English Open final. He lost to Judd Trump in the Champion of Champions final, and he lost to Luca Brissell in the Scottish Open final, although those two were not that close.
$50.
Of course, a lot of players just reaching finals would feel like a great achievement, but Higgins, with his great career record of winning tournaments, understandably was disappointed to not quite get his hands on a trophy, but there's still a lot of snooker to play this season, and he's in good shape.
$22.
Potting that red to the left corner. I think it makes another one available into the right corner. The red that's closest to the black at the back of the pack there. I think John got a little more reaction out the cue ball there than he was expecting.
30.
That could be end of break, judging by his facial expression.
John Higgins 30. As I said, though, in the first frame, you know that white's going to be on the baulk cushion. So, you know, he's not going to be just playing the cue ball down there with disappointment in mind. Sullivan has caught this a bit thick.
Well, John could take this red on into the left corner and play for the black. The only red he could leave, I feel, at first glance, is the red itself.
It's another terrific pot, though, isn't it? You know, okay, as you say, possibly wouldn't have left anything, but it's still good queuing.
Well, he's done absolutely nothing wrong yet, John Higgins. could have worked out a little better for John, but the red's still on into the left centre.
8.
Needs to be careful though if he plays it dead weight. We've seen signs already that this table isn't running perfectly level.
Nine.
No, I wasn't sure about that one actually, but it went in. As you say, it's played pretty much flawlessly so far. Of course, we've seen the young brigade start to really fire, and we saw it at the weekend again. Xiao Jingtong, who'll be here for the winners group. He won the German Masters against another young Chinese talent, Yan Bingtao, but these legends are still at the top of the game. They're not just turning up, making up the numbers, far from it. O'Sullivan won the World Grand Prix just before Christmas.
And I think, Dave, what that shows to me is the importance of knowing the game inside and out, playing the right shot at the right time, and giving yourself every chance to win matches.
90.
Now again, that's about 3 or 4 times that John's gone into the reds in this match so far, and it hasn't worked out particularly well.
Well, that's a rare error from Higgins. He's caught the knuckle of the middle pocket, so there is a red on here to left corner. For once, a safety error. But can O'Sullivan finally make an impact on this group? He's in.
Well,
Considering Ronnie hasn't won a frame yet today, and is halfway to losing this one as well, that was a terrific pot from him. That couldn't have looked easy.
No, I mean, that World Grand Prix final against Robertson, he was second best most of the day until the last mini session, when from 7-5 down he just turned it on in style that really only he can, and just breezed through to win in
8.
something like an hour, not even that.
Ronnie trying to work out a way of bringing the black into play. Won't be easy, I have to say.
40.
Needs to get back into this frame by taking the available loose reds.
50.
Still 35 points or 34 points adrift.
Well, that was unexpected, considering
O'Sullivan.
the first couple of pots he knocked in. So Higgins 34 to the good as he comes back to the table.
One.
Still a bit of work for John to do here to take this 2-0 lead. He'll need one of the awkward reds at least, though that one behind the black spot doesn't look too difficult. Another mistake from John there. I have a feeling he actually played for the red
7.
to the right corner, the one that's near the cushion. The cue ball just ran through, and I think John expected it to stun.
John Higgins.
Well, it's a reprieve for O'Sullivan, but once again he comes to the table and it's trouble. Higgins just seems adept at finding the right spot all the time for that cue ball.
Right, he has, Dave. He's actually snookered Ronnie on all 4 reds, which was quite some feat from where the cue ball was.
Well, he'll be happy enough. OK, the red's gone safe, but he hasn't left anything on.
Now, I wonder if somehow Ronnie will try to bring the black into play here. He's managed it. That red's running on. It may not be potable, but John has a chance here to put the cue ball back in behind the blue.
Yeah, but for that was a really good shot, but the reds, as you say, just kept running on. He opened the game up by freeing the black, but didn't ultimately get it as safe as he would have liked. And of course Higgins 41 in front, the 2 open reds are all that he needs. So this safety exchange, very important.
I think that red has just stopped in time. I don't think John can cut this in, but a snooker behind the blue shouldn't be too difficult.
Yes, and now this is trouble, because as I say, if he leaves a red on, it's surely 2-0. Well, excellent. That was. Sullivan has got his business head on here. Meanwhile, Ding Junhui has levelled up with Martin Gould on table 2-1 each there. Both former winners of this Championship League. As indeed, of course, is Higgins. And, of course, Karen Wilson won it last year.
I don't like that shot from John. Ronnie can potentially here get that cue ball in behind the blue from the angle that John's left here. He's taking the red on. That can't be the right shot. He knows this table isn't running perfectly true.
No, but suddenly everything is in the open, isn't it? So from Higgins' perspective, okay, he's got a good lead, but he knows one opening, it could all be over, as far as O'Sullivan is concerned.
Yeah, maybe Ronnie didn't attempt the pot on the red there. Wow. Yeah, I think both the players are discussing the fact this table isn't running as truly as it might.
Well, he's in, and as I say, now suddenly it looks a far more open table than a few moments ago, so this is a definite chance. He had that chance earlier, missed the pink to left middle.
And if Ronnie could somehow win this frame, it would hurt John because he's been in command for most of it.
5.
But has just started to make the odd mistake that he wasn't making in the first frame and for half of this.
6.
Well, that's awkward for Ronnie. This type of pot, when you're playing it on the diagonal, is never easy to cue straight. When you're leaning across the table like this, it's just not easy to push the cue through in a straight line. No problem though. Does he have an angle on the black to work with here?
11.
Classic sort of betwixt and between this, isn't it? Not ideal. But in it goes.
90.
Again though, position not good. Just a little tickle up to the brown, I think, here.
Royal
No
Sullivan, 90.
sort of thoughts of swinging his cue at anything there, just playing the disciplined game. He's got, of course, the utmost respect for John Higgins.
Rueful grin there on the face of Ronnie O'Sullivan. Well, this is up in the lap of the gods really as to how this will finish. He's missed the yellow. Will it be a free ball? It will be. So a real chance here for Ronnie.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 4. Free ball.
Yes, he can take, of course, any colour as the yellow. Snookered after a foul. And Higgins, was banging control. I mean, normally if John Higgins is 40-odd in front with reds on cushions, he's a massive favourite to win the frame. But a couple of little errors from him have contributed. O'Sullivan just checking the maths as he attempts to make the clearance.
4.
He's overdone this one a little bit.
Oh, he has, Dave. If he pots the green, does the cue ball cannon the blue? Well, a long way off with the green, but had to try and get the cue ball around the angle somehow. Needs a bit of good fortune and hasn't had any.
Yeah, just overdid position from yellow to green. So Higgins, after all that 14 in front, needs green and brown.
3.
Well, strange frame in a way, because in the end O'Sullivan, he did win the safety battle, but he couldn't go on and make the clearance. This is frame ball.
7.
So in terms of frames, this morning it's played 5, lost 5 for the 6 times world champion. Not as clean a frame for Higgins, having made 100, of course, in the opener, but it's gone the same way.
John Higgins 12 on the frame.
Yeah, John Higgins on top, a frame that Ronnie O'Sullivan looked likely to win, but just lost position from yellow to green, missed the green. Higgins leads 2-0. We're just going to briefly drop into table 2. Two former Championship League winners here, Martin Gould and Ding Junhui. Gould won the opening frame and Ding has won the second. Gould's a twice champion, 2013 and 2019, and Ding prevailed in 2012. Of course, his sort of light in a way has been taken, hasn't it, by some of the other Chinese players of late. Ding's actually the 4th highest ranked Chinese player at the moment, but I think everyone is just waiting for him to come back to form, and everyone would love to see that because he's a great player to watch. You can watch that on Matchroom Live as we go back to table 1. Ronnie O'Sullivan, well, it's getting worse. I was about to say played 5, lost 5 today. Now he's gone in off the break-off. Trailing 2-0 here to John Higgins.
Sam.
Well, we're going to have another look at Ronnie's break-off shot here. He actually struck the second red there, rather than the end red, which players normally play from. He's got another tough safety to play here. Well, potentially he's left this red on. Has he covered it with the yellow? Not quite. Well, that could have gone wrong positionally for John very easily, but just glanced off the back of the pack. Fuller ball cannon. Wouldn't have been any good to John at all. So a chance here in frame 3 early on for John Higgins.
Yeah, and his mistakes in this match, he's made a couple, have not been punished. They all know about each other's reputations, where they're ranked, what they've won, but you can never be sure how your opponent's going to play on the day. And that's true if you come up against someone well down the rankings who suddenly plays the match of their life. Just because these guys are legends, it doesn't mean they're going to play world-beating stuff every frame of their life. It doesn't work like that.
I'm certain John played for the red that's next to the black spot there, but was short of pace a little. But if he's got this red in the middle of the pack as an alternative, he's very lucky. So straight he could run through for the black. Now, question being, is the black spot occupied? Well, it would appear that the black spot is occupied. But looking at the red that's occupying the spot, it's to the right of the spot, so I think the red that's going to be very close to the black shortly will still pot into this right corner.
40.
So fast this bedcloth, isn't it? That keyboard just keeps running on. Very, very difficult to get perfectly on the blue. John may have to just drop this blue in and cannon a red just to the right of the pink. Just a whole position. Well, if he digs down into the cue ball, it does make the pot more difficult. Can he just roll it in and cannon the red to the right of the pink there, the loose one? He could do. I don't know if this has worked out too well for John. I think the red that's closer to the black will pot.
26.
But he's going to have to power it in for position.
Yeah, it's one of those breaks where the cue ball's having to do a lot of travelling, black and pink tied up early on. I can tell you, meanwhile, Ding Junhui has gone 2-1 up against Martin Gould over on table 2. Well, he's doing well here, isn't he? Because, as I say, it's been
37.
done without black or pink. Building up a nice lead in this frame that he needs to get his first point of Group 7.
38.
Yeah, now that pink and black are out of commission, I wonder if John may feel it necessary to try and just dislodge a few of those reds with the pink, because they're all sort of blocking one another now. Why, he's missed the brown. Sometimes you can have that sort of quandary.
38.
You can be a little undecided as to what you actually want to do, and in the end you play nothing, but an enforced error from John has given Ronnie a bit of a lifeline here in this third frame.
Well, he needed something, didn't he? Because it was looking set, even though it wasn't straightforward, it was looking set for another whitewash. But as it is, a lifeline is thrown.
What? Six. Seven.
Well, no easy loose red to play for now. The only possible red that Ronnie could get onto is the furthest one down from the group around the pink. And that hasn't worked out. It was never going to be easy. I think Ronnie had to go into those reds when he had the chance to from the previous blue.
Ronnie O'Sullivan 12.
The thing is, as I say, he's played the proper stuff all day. It just hasn't quite worked for him. In the last frame, he had that good chance to win the frame, having been quite a few behind, but lost his way on the colours, having got the free ball. But it's worth saying, even if you lose matches, it helps to win frames in them, because that's the next metric after points. It's frames won. So losing 3-0 really is as bad as it gets, really. Even if you could get a couple of frames here, even if you lost 3-2, that would be a help. But 3-0 is no use to anybody.
Another very good safety there from John with Hanford queuing. Left a problem for Ronnie O'Sullivan. Similarly, awkward queuing over the brown there, but he's done well. But where's this red going to drop? Okay, he's gone past the centre pocket. 30 points ahead, John Higgins. He won't want to bring any of the awkward reds into play. This could be a problem for John. I think he can only play a containing safety shot now. close is that cue ball to the brown? Yeah, I think John's a little concerned here. The shot that he may have to play could involve the cue ball running off course a little. Well, the worst possible outcome for John. Not only has he left this easy red for O'Sullivan, he's developed some of the more awkward ones, and this all of a sudden now for Ronnie is a great opportunity.
Yeah, you almost feel like it's now or never. If he's going to win a frame in this session, it's going to be here, or maybe not at all.
3. 4.
Don't think playing for the black is any good to Ronnie because it would tie up the two reds near the black spot.
11.
Having to play around for the pink, and he's played this pretty well.
Seventy. 80.
Well, now the difficulties will begin
20.
for Ronnie. The remaining red, not ideally placed by any means. The brown is going to be awkward on that bolt cushion. And he's just gone the wrong side of the pink here.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 30.
Went at the red full-blooded, but it stayed out as you see, so 1 point in it. Higgins will still have the brown to contend with himself.
Yeah. Ronnie O'Sullivan, 30.
This fast cloth will benefit John Higgins here because he's going to have to try and get that cubal up the table for pink or blue. Oh, that little bump off the jaw could have really helped John there. He may be able to play the blue now and dig down into it and play for the yellow. Green is probably too difficult to pot. Oh, this is the big shot coming up for John Higgins. Needs to be able to screw back to leave the green nearly straight. So he needs a good 12 or 16 inches of screw back on the yellow here.
Eight.
Oh, I'd be happy with that. That looks good to me. Could come off the side cushion, play the cue ball in behind the brown.
He will need the blue as well, so 3 balls required here.
11.
To win the match. There you go, a plot twist.
John Higgins.
Brown has kept running towards the cushion, but John Higgins, he was on the blue, which is all he needed.
Oh, we'd be disappointed, John. But if Ronnie plays this brown the way I think he will, he's got to be careful not to go in off. A long way out, and he's left it.
I think he would have liked to have shaken hands or at least fist bumped, but of course you can't do that if you can still win, but he'll be expecting to lose now. I can tell you Ding Junhui has beaten Martin Gould 3-1 on the other table. Good start for Ding. Higgins again needs brown and blue. This is a bit of a stretch, this brown.
4.
But in it goes, and it looks like he's about to complete a miserable session for Ronnie O'Sullivan, who's played 2, not only lost 2, but has not won a frame. Blue for victory. He made 100 in the first. He got in front in both of the next 2, didn't kill them off clinically, but was helped by errors from O'Sullivan. John Higgins takes his first point. You can't ask for better than 3-0, regardless of how the match went. He's the winner.
John Higgins 9. Frame. In the match.
O'Sullivan concedes, so as I say, not the start he was hoping for. He lost 3-0 to Corin Wilson. He's lost 3-0 to John Higgins, the twice winner of the Championship League. And Higgins is going to stay on. He plays the next match against Ricky Walden.